you. We will begin at 11, but before that, we'll just do a little Nama Sankirtanam. You can repeat after me. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Oh, there's the mute button is here.
All right. Vedanta is also called as Upanishad. Upanishad literally means to sit near the teacher and study. So otherwise, if you sit too far, it will become Farnishad instead of Upanishad. So join us in sitting in these front rows. Join me in this small prayer. You may repeat after me. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ajnanatimirandhasya ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. You all are here in Ashrama, Arshavidya Gurukula. Ashrama, the word is coming from the dhatu shram, means to put forth effort. The prefix asamantat, how do you put in that effort? That effort needs to be put in a very efficient way, in a proper direction, with patience, with perseverance, giving it all. That is ashrama, a place where you put in effort. Swamiji, we thought we will come to ashram to relax. Usually in the world, if you put in effort, it tires you, isn't it? Physically, of course, it tires you. But mentally also, it tires you. When you put in so much effort in your day-to-day life, in your careers, in your professions, no doubt, physically one experiences fatigue, but mentally also one experiences a lot of fatigue. The uniqueness of the shrama or the effort that you put in ashram is that you're not going to be tired. In fact, you become more rejuvenated by all this spiritual effort that you put in ashram. So all the effort that you put in the ashram can be also called as sadhana. In your spiritual lives, all the efforts that you put is sadhana. So that's the uniqueness of our Arshavidya Gurukulam, ashrama, where the seekers come and they put forth effort in right direction in order to know the truth, in order to know oneself. So that effort needs to be very efficiently put in the context of a retreat, and especially in a short retreat like this one, where you have very few days. So you become aware of the time and efficiently use each and every moment here in the ashram for your own self-growth. So what effort should one put in the context of Vedanta or in Arshavidya Gurukulam or ashrama? Why do you put what effort and why do you put all this spiritual effort? You may put that question to yourself. Probably the answer you will get, or generally everyone says, is that I am putting forth all this effort. I put forth effort to start my car or start my journey from different places to come to Pennsylvania, here to ashram. For what purpose? In order to free myself from the bondage of samsara. In order to free myself of this burden of samsara. What is samsara? That which goes on and on and on and on and on. I want to be free from such a state of mind. Hence, I'm here. To free oneself from dukkha, sorrow. One is holding on to so much pain and sorrow in one's life. One comes to spirituality, one comes to ashram, one comes to Vedanta in order to free oneself from the pain. The Upanishads give a beautiful story. Narada Maharshi, who is a Lokasanchari, he doesn't need visas. He can go anywhere he wants. So he holds the most powerful passport. So he can go anywhere, visa free. He goes to Sanat Kumara and says, "O teacher, O Bhagavan, I'm here. Please help me get over my sorrow. Get over my sorrow." What is this sorrow? Is Narada Maharshi crying all the time? No. In fact, he seems to be traveling a lot. He seems to be singing. He seems to be involved in a lot of activities. But yet, this passage of Upanishad, when you study Chandogya Upanishad, you recognize that this Narada Maharshi, whom from my childhood I saw in all the cinemas, he seems to be a person who is traveling all the time. He has dukkha, he has sorrow. What is this? In fact, it is nothing new to humanity. Every person, irrespective of whatever may be happening in the external world, is constantly having this sound of sorrow within. It's there. Nobody can see it. Nobody can see it, but yet one has that sorrow. What is that sorrow? What is that sorrow? The feeling of incompleteness, the feeling of inadequacy, self non-acceptance. So this tune is constantly there in one's head, irrespective of whatever they're showing off to the world, irrespective of whatever are the photographs on the Instagram and Facebook. The person is on holiday, but yet there's this inner void and inner sorrow. So one comes to spirituality, one comes to Vedanta in order to free oneself. So all this effort that you put in ashrama is to free yourself from that sorrow. Upanishad, Vedanta is not promising anything else but freedom from sorrow. If you are thinking that probably it will give me this and that in life, no, you are in wrong place. You're in wrong place. Then what can this study, what can this effort, what can this investment of time, all of it, what can it give me in return, even in this transactional language, if you ask? All that Sri Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita, all that Vedanta Upanishads promise is freedom from sorrow, freedom from samsara. In fact, at least hypothetically, you should imagine this. What would my life look like if I do not have this inner sound of sorrow? Inner sound of sorrow, dissatisfaction. Then you'll recognize the importance of this path, this seeking, all this effort that you put forth in order to be free from sorrow. In other words, why do you put all this effort? If I ask this question, the answer could probably be to know the truth. To know the truth. What use of life if you do not know the truth of life? Simply, the days and days pass, and then one is running behind constantly food, clothing, and shelter, and some entertainment, some comfort, some luxuries, and new experiences that doesn't really lead you anywhere but to sorrow. Bhartrhari, a great Vedantin, A great poet, he says, Bhoge roga bhayam. In every bhoga, in every enjoyment that you undertake, there will always be fear of roga, disease in it. Nothing, no pursuit of pleasure in this life is free from this fear, Apply it to anything. Today I think gulab jamun is going to be served in the afternoon. That's the bhoga. So as soon as you see it, one person who's innocent will see it as, wow, gulab jamun. A person who knows calories will see it as 833 ball of calories sitting there. So bhoge roga bhayam. Any bhoga, you undertake any activity, it will be infested, or the shadow of that pleasure is but pain, is but roga, disease. Disease means doesn't necessarily have to be a disease with reference to the body. There's so many diseases with reference to mind. Fear is a disease of mind. So, a person who's intelligent, who's analyzed life in this fashion, sometime, at some point in one's life, seeks the truth. The lies are very comforting. And an unexamined life is very comforting. Because you're simply jumping from one thing to another, have not really examined anything, and that brings a sort of comfort. Even though it is paining, such a life is producing so much of inner pain, one tends to ignore all of it and yet feel one sort of false comfort. So, an unexamined life is not worth living at all. So once a person comes to seek truth out of grace, out of punyam, out of luck, whatever you may call, suddenly, somehow, an inquiry starts in a person, and such a person comes to seek the truth. Is there something behind all of it that I see? Is there something more to life? Is there something more to life? Ye dil mange more. The dil always asks for something more. This and something else, something. Something, it should be something else, may not be this. May not be just this. There must be something. I immigrated to America, but then I think something must be in Europe. I need to go. More. If you are from Tamil Nadu, you also ask more. That means buttermilk. So, somehow, by grace, by luck, or probably, I would say, by using the faculty of viveka, which everyone is blessed with, ability to think, ability to examine, ability to discern, is there in each and every person. When one person starts using it, that person seeks Guru, that person seeks Ashrama, that person seeks Bhagavad Gita, such a person seeks Arshavidya Gurukulam. You may call it grace, blessing, but in fact, Bhagavan has given this blessing to each and every person. It's not that only chosen few have this blessing. Then you see Bhagavan becomes partial, isn't it so? Bhagavan becomes partial, blessing only few people to come to Vedanta. No. Of course, this blessing is given to each and every human being, every individual, but a few people decide to use this faculty, and come to the Guru to seek this knowledge, In fact, if you examine the history of Sanatana Dharma, history of Bharat, time and again a person wants to be free from the bondage of samsara, wants to seek truth. That person goes to an ashram, goes to seek a guru. That's what happened in my life. That's what happened in my guru's life. Sri Swami Dayananda Saraswati Ji, Pujya Swami Ji, went to seek this knowledge in his gurus. Pujya Swami Chinmayananda Ji, Swami Tarananda Ji, Swami Pranavananda Ji, he went to seek this knowledge. And then you go one more step in the parampara. Swami Chinmayananda Ji went to Swami Shivananda Maharaj, Swami Tapovan Maharaj, in order to seek this truth. And that's been the story and the history of this seeking. You go to a wise person to seek this knowledge. Thus, you start walking on the path of truth and discover the meaning, truth of life within. Thus, blessing yourself with the happiness, ananda, which was ever present in your own heart. Some people may tend to think that this blessing is for choicest few. Like I said, no, the blessing is for everyone. If you say grace, anugraha, punyam, it's there for each and every person. In fact, that's a humble way of presenting. Instead of saying that I sought a guru, I started seeking, I went here, I went to Gurukulam, I studied, you say, Ishvara Anugraha brought me to Guru. Ishvara Anugraha, my own punya, brought me to my gurus. You may say that. So in fact, it's like this. Suppose a person was walking and he had a fall. He falls down and there's a fracture. The person is taking rest. So the relatives and friends come to see this person and they ask, hey, what happened? What happened? How did you get this fracture? Then the person says, I was walking, I put my step in a wrong direction or in a different way. I slipped, I fell. So because of that, I have this fracture. Or another way, you can say, hey, how did you fall? What happened? Oh, it's because of gravity. What makes you fall fundamentally? Gravity. Somebody may have fallen from first floor, somebody may have fracture, somebody may have sprain. You fall down because of what? You fall down because there is gravity. So similarly, anything in life is because of grace. Anything in life is because of punya. That is samanya dharma. Not just applicable to one person, it's applicable to everyone. So in life, when there is samanya, dharma is common for everybody, then you may want to pay attention to vishesha dharma. What special effort should I put in order to free myself? Rather than saying gravity, you explain how did I fall. Similarly, instead of simply saying a generalized statement without really meaning it, that it's Bhagavan's grace which will lead me. In fact, it may be fundamentally true, but yet you want to pay attention to what will take me out of samsara. So Adi Shankaracharya gives this beautiful text called Sadhana Panchakam in order to free oneself from the dukkha, tapa of samsara. That's the text, Sadhana Panchakam. Sadhana means a means. The meaning of the word sadhana is means. means to an end. What is the end? End is moksha, freedom. So how do I approach this freedom? That freedom, that becomes the sadhana, the approach, the path becomes sadhana. So in these 5 verses, Adi Shankaracharya gives 40 instructions or 40 directions, like a route map, in order to reach the destination called moksha. That's the Sadhana Panchakam. So we will look into the text and explore the text. Exploration of the text is but exploration of oneself. The text is not some independent entity. The text is like a mirror which shows the real you. The real you. The regular mirror made of silicon will show just the external you. The external you. This mirror called Shastra shows the real you. So I've put a small tune for the text. You may repeat or chant after me. Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam karmasvanushthiyatam teneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam papaugah paridhuyatam bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. So Acharya Shankara begins with saying, Vedo nityam adhiyatam. May you begin the study of Vedas each and every day. So here, Veda can also be taken as a broader term which includes Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, all the texts of Vedanta. May you study Bhagavad Gita, may you study Upanishads each and every day. May you begin the study of Upanishads. Why? Why? Because a person may be seeking truth, but all from one's own standpoint, constantly having this inner dialogue. Oh, if it is like this, what is that? If it is like that, what is this? If I do this, what is it? If they say, okay, that is saying like this, if I do like this, will that happen? Will this happen? How is this? How is that? One constantly have this monologue inside. Monologue inside. So you don't want to keep on having that monologue. For how long will you have it? The question one must ask oneself, this inner monologue, has it led me anywhere? Has it taken me any far in my journey of pursuit of truth, in pursuit of happiness? If it's leading you, well, continue the inner monologue. If it has not led you anywhere, come on, be open-minded, be open to new perspective. And how do you find that new perspective? You get that new perspective from Bhagavad Gita. You get that new perspective from the Upanishads. Because these are books of wisdom. These are not just books of some theology, simply stories of this and that. These are books of wisdom. Perennial wisdom. So may you look into these books each and every day. Vedo nityam adhiyatam. In the traditional context, may you begin the study of Vedas. May you study Vedas. Taduditam karmasvanushthiyatam. Vedas suggest many duties and responsibilities, a way of living, a way of life. May you do all those karmas suggested in the Vedas. All those duties and rituals, prayers, always in Hinduism, always in Sanatana Dharma, date and place apply. Time and place apply. Maybe there are a lot of things are said in Vedas, but in today's context, in my Desha Kala, in what position I am, I may not be able to do every ritual suggested, every homa, every havan suggested. I may not be able to do. Well, if somebody is able to do, well and good. But if I'm not able to do, I contextualize, I customize. I think one of my first visits to the US, one of our devotees took me to Froyo. So the yogurt shop. So there was yogurt and a lot of toppings. So you take a cup of whatever size you want and then choose the flavors of yogurt that you want. And then you all know I'm simply explaining. You put all the toppings on it and they weigh it and then charge you. And then you eat it and then stand on weighing machine. That 250 grams says plus. Sanatana Dharma is not one size fits all. The most uniqueness of Sanatana Dharma is this customization, like the Froyo. There are a lot of good things in every book. There are a lot of good things in every sampradaya. There are a lot of good traditions. But can you do it all? Everything bagel. Can you do it like that? No. Bagel you can do, not here. So you customize, contextualize to your life what you can do, what you cannot do. Have some bare minimum samskaras, bare minimum rituals, minimum prayers, so that you're oriented towards something. Life doesn't become a disorder. So there is some order, there is some direction. So the place of rituals is that they orient you in life. There's an order, there's a discipline to everyday life. That's what Acharya Shankara is saying. Taduditam karmasvanushthiyatam. Recently in Bangalore, I was giving a discourse in a temple. And after the discourse, there was Q&A. And a person stood up and asked, Swamiji, in order to live a nice devotional life, what are the things that we should do from morning to evening? Could you please tell me? Could you please tell us how to do it? Our orientation is always, when we imagine a devotional life, means you must be doing a lot of pujas or things like that throughout the day. That constitutes a devotional life. I asked him, I have a very different answer to your question. Are you ready to accept it, or are you ready to at least think in those lines? He said, yes. Then I said, and he said, what according to the Vedas, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gitas, what all I have to do in a day in order to live a spiritual devotional life? I said, the standard answer is what you wake up in the morning, you do a puja, you go to temple. Standard answer. Everybody knows. Who doesn't know? Everybody knows it. But I said, Vedas have a very different approach. In order to live a religious life, a devotional life, what the Upanishad Bhagavad Gita is saying is, Satyam vada, dharmam chara, swadhyaya anma pramadaha. What you must do every day is, Satyam vada, speak the truth. Speak the truth. Dharmam chara, whatever is your duty, do it efficiently. Then study the scriptures each and every day. Study Bhagavad Gita. Put some attention in knowing what Gita is saying. Gita is saying. But then, this is what Upanishad is saying. How to conduct your each and every day. But then, somehow because we are unable to do this, I think we mask, we supplement, instead of following all this, we supplement it with some dry rituals. Some dry rituals. In fact, it goes to such an extent that you, in order to get prasadam in a temple, you bribe some officials and some pujaris and bypass the system, line, and take prasadam, thinking that it is devotion. Arey, what is Upanishad saying? Satyam vada, don't do all this. No, you're not ready to follow that. What you want is laddu. So see, so Shankaracharya is not telling you to simply follow some bunch of dry rituals in every day. Taduditam karmasvanushthiyatam. Vedas are suggesting karmas. More than that, what is important is to conduct each and every karma that you do in each and every day with basal attitudes of satya, ahimsa, shraddha, samadhana, titiksha. That should be your way of life. And now, beautifully, Acharya is introducing Karma Yoga. Teneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi. Apachitihi means worship, puja. Through your duties, may you worship Ishvara. Offer your duties as worship to Bhagavan, as to Lord. That forms the attitude of Karma Yoga. In fact, there's a beautiful story in Mahabharata. A young brahmachari student has finished the studies. He's very proud of all the karmas that he's following each and every day. He's doing the upasanas, he's doing the sandhyavandanam, he's doing this, he's doing that ritual, he's chanting this mantras. He's very proud of all that. And then he sees a crow, which is a crow or a bird, which is disturbing him. Through his tapashakti, he burns the bird. The bird falls down and he goes about now to seek bhiksha. So now he goes onto a lady's house and says, Bhavati bhikshan dehi. And then that lady is serving her husband and she says, and this fellow is getting restless. That lady inside the house understands this even without seeing him. She says from inside, hey, I am not that crow for you to burn. Wait. This fellow is shocked. Arey, I have studied Vedas. I am doing all these rituals. I am holier than you. What is this? How could you read my mind? How did you know that I have given shapa to a bird and come here? That lady finishes her duties and comes and gives him bhiksha, but then he's humbled a bit. He asks, what is your source of wisdom, of knowledge? How do you know? She says, I don't have time to teach you. Go to that butcher in Mithila. This fellow is suddenly now shaken. Arey, I take bath, I put all the marks, correct marks on the forehead, even dot or 3 lines or horizontal or vertical. I do it all right. My God, now I need to seek knowledge from a butcher. He goes to the butcher and then understands this butcher is a source of wisdom. He has all knowledge of the Shastras. And then he asks how. The butcher, Dharmavyadha, the butcher says, hey, I happen to inherit this profession. I'm doing this profession because that's how is the social context, but I'm doing it all to serve my parents. I'm totally committed to serving my parents, to serving my family. I'm doing all of it very efficiently. Then he recognizes that I have to see beyond external karmas, external things, what a person is doing, and then see beyond and recognize that anybody can be a source of wisdom if maturity, if one is directed in life to true values, if one is oriented based on the values of ahimsa, satyam, then duties towards one's parents, all of it. So that's how he comes to understand these lessons. So karmasvanushthiyatam teneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam. Offer all your duties to the Lord as the puja. You may sometimes not have time to do day-to-day puja, or that is not the environment probably you have grown up in, but then do not miss this worship of doing your duties properly with all the right attitudes, and then offering the duty and its result towards Ishvara. That itself becomes your puja. And now Acharya is giving a very important Vedantic instruction. He says, Kamye matistyajyatam. Do not put your mind in desires, in desire-based karmas. Kamye matistyajyatam. Do not give your attention, energy in selfish actions, in selfish prayers, in selfish rituals. Rituals that you do only for your sake. Prayers that you do only for your sake. Desires that you entertain only for your sake. Kamye matistyajyatam. Do not live such a life. Do not get invested in desires. That's what Acharya is saying. Because if you truly examine desires, it never ends. Never ends. One after another, one after another. It keeps on popping up. In fact, what is that moment in everyday life that you experience happiness, pleasure, so-called happiness, which is but pleasure? What is that point where you have the experience of pleasure? Some may call it happiness. But what is that point? If you really see, if you really examine, if there is a desire in the mind is restless. The mind is restless. The mind wants it, wants that object of desire. Mind gets a desire. Coffee may syat. May I have a Starbucks coffee? The mind gets that desire. So once that desire is there, that desire starts dancing and jumping in the mind, you're restless, or probably you're not satisfied enough. So now you are seeking that object of desire. You drive, you go, this and that and all of it. And then you order, and the cup is delivered in your hand. And what is your state of mind at that point in time where the cup is handed over to you? What is it? Fulfillment of desire. Isn't it so? What do you mean by fulfillment of desire? At that point in time, there is no desire in my mind. There is no desire in my mind. Thus, I'm experiencing a certain joy, certain pleasure. In fact, what you are experiencing is peace at just that point where your desire is fulfilled, no doubt, but what is that state of mind? If you really deeply analyze it, just at that moment, there are no desires in the mind. There's no desire in the mind. There's peace, there's happiness. After that you sip the coffee, then some more pleasure on the tongue. That's a different area. But at this time, there are no desires in mind. In fact, you're truly peaceful in life when there are no desires in your mind. You're at peace. You're at peace. I assume that you are at peace right now because as you are sitting here, you are not having desires after desires in the mind. Probably you are at peace because you are not entertaining desire after desire in your mind. So you're at peace, but we have seldom examined this state. We have seldom paid attention to a place in mind. It's your own anubhava, it's your own experience where you do have experience of desirelessness for at least temporary period of time. Temporary period of time. This is a huge window in one's life to understand what really puts you at peace is desirelessness. That's why Acharya Shankara is telling, Kamye matis tyajyatam. Do not invest in desires. Do not get invested in desire-based actions because that will have no end. That will have no end. From one place to another, you keep on going. You keep on going. There is no end to it. There is no end to it. Recently, one of Pujya Swamiji's devotees had come to Bangalore to visit me. She said, Swamiji, I got a desire to visit Kashi. I want to visit Kashi. Then I called up one of the travel agents to help me with the booking and plan my trip to Kashi. Then that fellow picked up the phone and it seems he said, oh, you want to come to Kashi or you want to go to Kashi? Yeah, fine, sure, I can organize the whole thing. Fine, no problem. But then you do Kashi, Ayodhya, Gaya and few more places. She said, I want to do Kashi. But he said, no, Kashi, Ayodhya, Gaya, this, that and all that. He said, no, I want to go to Kashi alone, she said. He said, Arey, you are anyway spending money in the flight. Might as well do these things. Might as well do these things. What's the big deal? See, this is life. Never stop at one thing. Never stop at one thing. You know, you're so worldly that you want to be your holiday also, you want it efficiency out of it. Not holiday. In fact, it is not holiday, it's a pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage. You want to be so efficient, so materialistic, so corporate oriented. Even holiday, you want to get everything out of it. Just as the corporation takes everything out of you and gives you few dollars. So you want your pilgrimage to be like that. So this desire, one place after another, one place after another, one place after another is not going to lead you anywhere. That becomes religious tourism, that's all. You return back to the same place where you started from, the same old unhappy self. Same old unhappy self. Isn't it so? But we never examine life. We never examine life. Vedanta is all about examining one's own life. But some people think Vedanta is all about examining the text. No doubt they will get some scholarship. Unfortunately, they are the same old person within, no transformation, because through the text they have never examined their lives. switching from one desire to another, one place to another, one text to another, one tourist spot or one pilgrimage spot to another, you have gained nothing out of all of it. You have not gained truth out of all of it. So Acharya Shankara just makes a very blatant statement, says, Kamye matis tyajyatam. Do not get invested in desires. Do not get invested in desires. It could be desire to visit one holy place after another. Doesn't matter. Do not get invested. Swamiji, how is it? I thought Vedanta means I was scheduled to go to India. I have ticket in hand for next month. I'm doing Ayodhya, Varanasi, this and that. No, yeah, fine, you do it. But then somewhere you have to put a stop to yourself. Put a stop to yourself. I noted a small shloka which puts this into context. Idam tirtham ye brahmanti tamasa janaha. Atma tirtham na jananti katham moksha varanane. People keep on saying, this is tirtham. Tirtha means what? A place of pilgrimage. Tirtha means a sacred water. So every place of pilgrimage in Sanatana Dharma is associated either with a mountain or with a river, water body. Idam tirtham. They go on going, this is tirtham, that is that tirtham, this is that pilgrimage spot. That is pilgrimage spot. The author says, Brahmanti, they are deluded. Calling, this is tirtha, that is tirtha. Why are they deluded? They seem to be doing all these religious pilgrimage. Why are you saying so? The author says, Atma tirtham. They never know what is Atma tirtham. They never know the Sachidananda tirtha which is within, which is one's own true nature. Atma tattva, Atma tirtha. They do not know. That's why they're traveling constantly from one place to another. One place to another. So, you want to pay attention to that. Acharya says, having done all these things, meaning what? Studying scriptures, following the rituals, way of life given by the scriptures, and by not paying attention to desire-based actions, may you dissolve this ocean of papa one might have accumulated in one's life. Then furthermore, Acharya says, Papogaf paridhuyatam. May you dissolve this ocean or waters of papa, all the things that you do not want in your life, those are the papas. May you dissolve all those unnecessary attitudes, negativity in your life by right way of living. Bhavasuke doshonusandhiyatam. Acharya says, Bhavasukhe. Bhava means loka, world. Sukha means pleasures. Doshonusandhiyatam. May you find fault in the pleasures of the world. Bhavasuke doshonusandhiyatam. Very, very important aspect in Vedanta. Because you cannot be pursuing the worldly pleasures and a spiritual path at the same time. It's like trying to mix oil and water. They do not mix. Swamiji, we make mayonnaise, it mixes. No egg included in this. Thus, it's like always trying to mix water and oil. Water and oil. You're pursuing the pleasures of the world and then you want moksha also. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Doesn't work, unfortunately. Bhavasuke doshonusandhiyatam. Understand that you have to draw a line somewhere. Parikshya lokan karmachitan. Mundaka Upanishad says, somewhere you have to draw a line. Experience the world. Experience the worldly pleasures. Do a lot of things that you wish Fine. But after some point in time, you have to draw a line. Otherwise, it's not going to be leading you anywhere. This whole effort of spirituality is going to not lead you anywhere. Bhava sukhe doshonu sandhiyata. The world is constantly advertising you that pleasure is here, pleasure is there, pleasure is this. All of it. May you find fault with it. You know, in Bangalore, Gurgaon, and all of it, when I'm traveling, you see these big hoardings. What do the hoardings say? Happiness starts from 4.3 crore rupees only. So it's an advertisement for an apartment. Happiness starts from 4.3 crores only. $1 million mean nothing in India now. Swami Sachidananda ji says, India is a poor country where rich people live. So, nothing is going, they keep advertising like that. So you think that if you buy that apartment, happiness is going to be there. No, you're going to be the same sad person in a new home. Nothing changes. So develop the ability to find fault in the pleasures of the world. This is what is viveka. Bhava sukhe dosho nusandhiyata. This is viveka. Keep applying it for everything that you desire. See, having studied this, tomorrow is it going to be like this? Oh, then there are not going to be any desire-based actions in my life. I'm not going to entertain any desires. Well, if you do that, congratulations, I would be very happy. But mostly, practically speaking, life doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. Sometimes the change is instant. Sometimes the change is gradual also. Gradual also. For me, I think when I look at my journey, the change was drastic, I think. The end of my undergrad, I decided I'm going to ashram. My friend said, hey, you were partying with us yesterday night. I said, no, this is new me. Sometimes it is drastic. Sometimes it could be gradual also. Doesn't matter. What is required is transformation. What is required is inner transformation. Bhava sukhe dosho nusandhiyatam. Keep on finding fault with what all world advertises you. The world constantly deceives you. Constantly deceives you to keep on buying more and more and more and more and more. Shania Twain, one of the country musicians of United States, I was listening to her song when I was in high school. She has a song called Kaching. You go YouTube it. She's full song is Vedanta. Full song is Vedanta. So that is Bhava Sukhe Doshonu Sandhiyatam. Reference Shania Twain Kaching. Bhava Sukhe Dosh. Keep finding fault. Everything you see. Simply it mesmerizes us to keep on running a rat race constantly. Then if you examine, anything that is marketed is hollow and empty. Hollow and empty. You simply go someplace thinking that it's going to be this and that, but what you're desiring, heart desires truly is, if you're a South Indian, curd rice coming back home, North Indian khichdi. That's what. People go to Europe trip and tell me, Swamiji, we had wonderful Indian food all 7 days. Why did you go to Europe? You could have eaten all that at your home. Famous Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, who has written Tao Te Ching, a very important philosophical work. He says, a beautiful quote, stop leaving, you will arrive. Stop leaving, you will arrive. Paranchikani vitrunat swayambhu, Kathopanishad. Constantly the sense organs are probably designed in such a way that the mind constantly wants to go out. The senses constantly leave you. You want to leave this and that, and to that place, to this place, everything. Stop leaving, you will arrive. So that's what Acharya Shankara is suggesting. Kamye matistyajatam bhavasuke doshonusandhiyatam. May you examine and live life in such a way. Having done that, Acharya says, Atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagruhat turnam vinirgamyatam. He says, we will come to Atmecha vyavasiyatam. He says, Nijagruhat turnam vinirgamyatam. Having recognized these truths, leave your home immediately. You all have done that here now. You all left your home and came to Arshavidya Gurukulam. Congratulations. You're already following Acharya Shankara's instructions, so I need not explain this verse. So now take the calendar. 2025 calendar is printed in your calendar, and the booklet is available at our office. Take that and leave your home and come to the Vedanta retreat. Leave your home and come to the Vedanta retreat. Swamiji, can we stay in the ashram constantly? No, we don't have space. Meaning, come out of your comfort zone. Come out of your attachments. Everything is tied to one's home. Come out of that attitude. Whether you come out of home or not, that's not what is being discussed. Come out of that attachment. Come out of that attachment. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. Develop a desire to know the self, to know the truth. One has desire to constantly know this and that. That's why a person is constantly watching news. Why? You have a desire to know what's happening around the world. There's statistics I saw. Today, on your mobile phone news app, more information to you is available than what was available to Bill Clinton on his Oval Office when he was president. That means you have more information than what was available to the Commander-in-Chief, the President of United States. What are you going to do with all that information? What's happening here? What's happening there? What's happening? Constantly, what are you going to do? Another statistics, it says 85% of the news consumers are men. So what are you going to do with that? That's why men are always angry, restless. Women, what do women watch? They watch soap operas. Kahani Gar Gar Ki. There's always a story at home. Another statistics again says, the reason for in the marriages in India, the divorces, the reason for divorces is mother-in-law. Why? Because she's always watching soap opera. I think the 15% should watch news and other 85% should start watching soap operas. We may have a new balance we should examine. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. Develop desire to know the self. What use of knowing random information, random news pieces all around the world? What are you going to do with it? Yes, in order to function an efficient day-to-day life in your professions, you need to know a few things. Yes, you may know, that's all. May you invest all your time and energy in knowing the self. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. Nijagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. Immediately come out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone is a very unique zone. Comfort zone can be compared to the shade which is there under a huge tree. If there's a huge peepal tree, there'll be shade underneath it. And do you see anything growing underneath the tree? No, nothing. Nothing grows in a comfort zone. So, nijagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. Come out of your comfort zone. The falls is our comfort zone. Mithya, the false, is our comfort zone. We're constantly associated with mithya. Mithya, anything will bring you comfort. Swamiji, we keep hearing in Vedanta, Satya and Mithya, how to identify what is Mithya. Now I'll give you a new sutra. How do you identify Mithya? Mithya is that which comforts you. Mithya is that which gives you comfort. So you want to get out of that zone. Get out of falsity. Get out of the false. Get out of false. I will end the discussion by saying, why do we resist coming out of this comfort zone? Why do we resist truth? Even though it is shining brightly in front of us, why do we resist? We resist because we are afraid of losing the known. We are afraid of losing the known. That's why we tend to ignore the truth. We tend to ignore the truth. We are afraid of losing the known. Swamiji, can you give me an example? Family members are cheating all the time, but you refuse to accept the truth because you have the fear of losing that known. What is known? What are the known things? The family members. You do not know how to operate without them. Swamiji, now should I fight going back after? No. Recognize the false and draw the line and separate yourself. Separate yourself. We're afraid of losing the known. That's why we resist the truth. We resist the truth because we're afraid of accepting what it will show us. What it will show us. We are afraid of truth. We're afraid and we resist the truth because we're afraid of who we may become once the illusion is lost. Once the illusion is stripped, I'm afraid of how I will look like. How I would look like. What would my life look like? I'm afraid of that. So that's why I'm holding on to some false in my life. So probably these are the reasons why we resist the truth. But mind you, the truth alone can bless you with happiness. The false can only temporarily keep you safe and in comfort, but there will always be fear of losing this and that. What if? What ifs are always there in the mind. If you want to be free, fearless, and happy, truly happy in life, discover your own true nature. From false, you have to move to the truth. Do not resist the truth. So truth bombs are going to be given by Acharya Shankara in furthermore in the text. Do not resist it. Bhava sukhe doshonu sandhiyatam. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. We have some time till lunch. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Anything since the class is fresh. Do you have any announcements to make? Please do.
Thank you, Swamiji. One quick announcement. We have 3 o'clock yoga class, whoever wants to go to yoga. And also at 3 o'clock, there's a chanting class by Priest Shivaram in the temple. Small shloka he is agreed to teach. So you can join at 3 o'clock before your 4:30 class. And today is Pradosham also. So after the class, you can come to Pradosha Puja in the afternoon class. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Or we can stop the live here. I want